you. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Mullins, and I am a professor at the Fashion Institute of Technology. I'm also the assistant chair of the Footwear and Accessory Design at FIT. And tonight I want to talk about our major, Footwear and Accessory Design. We're one of many majors in the School of Art and Design at FIT, which has not only the School of Art and Design, but School of Business and Technology, and also School of Liberal Arts. So there are a lot of programs at our school, and I'm going to talk about ours. So I'm going to share my screen and give you a little bit of visual presentation about what we do. Get this. So as I said, we're called the Footwear and Accessory Design Department at FIT, and we are a major that you can choose, and we offer 2 degrees, which I'll get into a little bit later as we talk. This is student work that I'm showing you. All the images are student work in this presentation. So this was a student's senior thesis. And she made all the product, and she also styled the photos. So our program is really about teaching students about design, production, and the creative elements of footwear and accessory design. It's a huge industry, and although you might associate FIT with fashion design and think just about clothing, the footwear and handbag, belts, small leather goods is a huge multi-billion-dollar part of the industry. And so there are a lot of job opportunities in footwear and accessory design. And we like to say that the shoes and accessories make the whole outfit. Again, this is student work on the right. This is a senior thesis level work of footwear. So our students are both designing and actually making the products themselves. So the picture that I have behind me is our footwear lab, and our students spend a lot of time working in our studios actually making the product. And both by hand and digitally as well. So we have classes that I'll get into, but about materials, and we have classes about sustainability and technology, and a lot of different, the curriculum is very wide. So I like to show this picture because if this looks exciting to you, then you're learning about the right program. This is like all components of what our students work with. You can see on the top left are different materials. So and our students learn about leather, they learn about fabric, they learn about all sorts of trims used in footwear and accessories. On the bottom left, you might see a funny form. It's actually called a shoe last, and that's what all shoes are made on. The way that an apparel designer will work on a dress form to drape clothing, our students use shoe lasts to drape and create shoes on, and they determine the size of the shoe, the toe shape, the heel height, and that's all information that you'll learn in our program. Then there's markers, because our students do learn hand rendering and digital rendering, and scissors, tape measures. We use industrial sewing machines, and we also have a whole machine shop for shoemaking. That includes sanders and bandsaws and things like that. So it's very hands-on. It isn't only 2D, it's also really creating product and also getting into 3D design in the senior level. So again, as I said, we are a major in the School of Art and Design at FIT. And one thing you might have heard if you're looking into FIT is that we are a 2+2 system, and it's very unique to most schools. But what that means is that if you're a high school student or you have little to no college experience, you would apply directly to an associate program, an AAS degree program. And then that's a 2-year program that's both art and design classes and liberal art classes. And then after the AAS degree, you apply to a BFA, in our case, degree, which is another 2 years. So our department has a full 4-year program, and you can go through all 4 years seamlessly. If you come into the AAS and you earn a 3.0 or higher GPA, grade point average, then you're automatically accepted into our BFA. So it's not high pressure to be able to continue into the BFA, but it is an interesting system, and you actually earn 2 degrees. So even if you stay in one area like ours and one major for both degrees, you will still earn those 2 degrees. Some students do 2 years in one area and 2 years in another. And you can do that in footwear and accessory design. You could do a 2-year AAS in our program and then choose another major. There's toy design, which is a BFA. There's fabric styling, which is a BFA. There's some programs are only AAS and BFA. And so people can combine them, or you could even go for 2 years in art and design and 2 years in business and technology, or vice versa. So it's a very interesting system that you can combine majors in and degrees. The one thing that is for sure is that you always want to talk to an academic advisor about the combination, because, for example, FIT has a jewelry design associate program, AAS program degree, and then they don't have a BFA, or what FIT calls upper division. So a lot of the jewelry students come to footwear and accessory design for their BFA. So they'll do 2 years in jewelry design and 2 years in BFA, 2 years in, footwear and accessory design. And we require them to take 2 classes to sort of bridge the 2 programs, to bridge from jewelry design AAS to footwear and accessory design BFA. So that's a system that's particular to FIT, and can be confusing, but it depends on your major, and it's worth asking questions about. So here's a sample of classes in our AAS degree. We have leather materials technology, where literally we have racks of materials that students are learning from hands-on. Your midterm exam might be literally looking at samples of leather and other materials and being, answering questions about them. You also will, because we're located right in Manhattan, you might go on a field trip to a leather supplier and also get to really, explore everything that's even available for retail as a student. We have an accessory design human anatomy class, so that you really learn about the body, because you're designing for shoes to fit and bags to be worn. And so that's an important component. We have footwear and handbag design. Both of those are hands-on classes where you design a product, you make the patterns, you cut and sew the materials for a finished product. And we have technical drawing. So that's really, learning how to do a drawing that you would use to communicate, say, to a sample maker or a factory. And then again, you learn that both by hand, and in the accessories CAD class, we do it on computer in Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. One of the things that's very unique about FIT, and I'm just going to go back to this slide here, is that when you apply to FIT, you apply directly to a major. And so the beauty of that is that if you know you want to do footwear and accessory design, you get to literally, on the first day of college, you would be in the lab that's behind me in this virtual photo. You'd be in that lab, like with a shoe last in your hands and leather on the table, and learning from the first day of class. We don't have sort of a broad foundation year that covers certain material, and then sophomore year or later, you get into the major. You do it the first day, and that is really fun for students that know exactly what they want to do. It's a little bit more intimidating if you're not sure, because you do have to pick a major when you apply, and you do have to apply with a specific portfolio for that major. So it's worth it to come to FIT's admissions events if you're in the area to learn more about the programs, because you do need to know which major you want to apply to. So I say that and thinking about the classes, because it is amazing that you get to start the first week of school. You're drawing shoes and bags and looking at leather and everything. But you also need to be prepared for that. And so this is, again, some student work example. I mean, we start with design and color inspiration. Our students both seek information online, but we also have an incredible library. And part of our library, which I'll talk a little bit more later, but we have special collections where you have like actual copies of books and art and materials that you can use to research with. And then also the library has an incredible database of trend forecasting companies and other things where you can get color stories and imagery and things. So that's really cool. So this is like a mood board designed by a student with a color story. And then these are like just quick ideation sketches, meaning they're just like getting your ideas out and doing variations of something to really work through your designs, communicate with your teacher, and explore, what you're thinking about. And so some of these are by hand on the left, and the top right and the bottom right are on computer digital drawings. Here's a color rendering. So our students are doing also illustrations and renderings by hand. So this is a student work, and using markers to create this beautiful handbag. Here's some pictures of students working in the studio. So again, you can see on the bottom right, we have a lot of industrial sewing machines. So you don't have to know how to sew to start our program. It's helpful, but it's not a requirement. We have sewing labs and workshops in the beginning of the school year to give students extra time, and then you have time in class. Like our footwear and handbag classes are 5 hours long. So the teacher lectures for some of that, but most of it is really time to work, because we have specialized equipment and even special tables to work at. The students get the time in class to get work done. And we also have additional studio time after classes as well. But you can see, students on the bottom left, those are students, taking photos of their work. In the middle, the student cutting leather. Top center, student working on his computer on the sewing machine. So sometimes you have to do it all. And on the top left, the student sewing on a special type of machine we have called the cylinder arm machine, which is something we use a lot in handbag design. And on the top right, that's a class critique, where the students have all their shoes out that they've made for the semester, and they're all sitting on envelopes which contain the patterns that they've made for the shoes. And so, give it class critique and presentations, a big part of college in general, but especially our program, and learning how to speak about your work, write about your work. All of that is part of our program as well. And as I said before, you go on field trips. I mean, it's great. Huge part of our school is the location and the ability to hop on the subway or even walk to incredible resources. This is a field trip I actually took my class on, and we went to the Brooklyn Navy Yard, where Echo Leather, which is both a leather company and a shoe company, and that this is their design office and showroom. And we went there, we looked at the leathers, and learned about some of the unique materials that they sell. And so our BFA program, as I said, FIT has this unique setup, AAS and BFA. Our BFA, our AAS really is foundational, covering your learning, a whole new vocabulary of how to, of shoes and bags and, gussets and insoles and sock liners and all these things that you might not know. And so you're getting your foundation. And in our BFA, there's a lot more sort of niche areas and exploration. So these are some of our BFA classes: theatrical footwear, 3D CAD modeling, athletic footwear design, unconventional handbag techniques, portfolio development, internship, and senior thesis. Again, this is not the full curriculum. This is just a few of our classes listed. Our students, again, in the BFA, it's still a mix of major area classes as well as liberal arts and gen ed classes and related area classes. That's what we call classes. Like our bachelor's students take a screen printing class. So they learn how to screen print, and then even can make their own materials, print your own material that then you can use to make product, as well as the 3D CAD modeling is actually currently our students are learning Rhino, which is 3D modeling program. And then our seniors are everyone takes portfolio development. So you're developing an actual portfolio in your senior year, preparing you for going out into the industry. You're going to need a portfolio to apply for design positions. And every senior is also required to do an internship their final semester. And not every program has that as a requirement, but ours do. So really the final semester of our BFA is really internship and senior thesis. And you're spending, usually students spend 2 days at their internship. Senior thesis is a full day class. And then, you might have some liberal arts to finish, but the internship's a big part of the final semester, as well as senior thesis. And this is a bit of the design process of one of our seniors. So starting out with inspiration and sketches, and then making the patterns for the footwear, prototyping, you can see as 3D designs, and as finished samples. So what this student did is they, using Rhino, the 3D software, they created the outsole for their sneaker and 3D printed it. And you can see, especially on the bottom right, that there's, sort of a transparent material and a black material on the outsole. Those are two different types of materials that 3D printed that all fit together in a puzzle. So this is his process for his senior thesis. And he made several pairs of shoes. This is another senior thesis. So our students have, it's really a self-directed, their thesis can be, anything. And this student did all his work was 2D. He actually made a whole magazine of products. So he had over 100 different products, where somebody who's, making product might have the number doesn't really matter, but let's say they have, 4 to 6 items that they've made for their thesis, like somebody who's doing it in 2D might have hundreds. So these are sample pages from his magazine. That was a little bit sporty. And this is another student's senior thesis. So she did, as I said, some students do 2 years in one area and 2 years in another. So this student had her AAS in jewelry design and her BFA in footwear and accessory design. And you can see the influence of her jewelry design in the decorative elements of the shoe on the vamp, as we call the top front area, and then in the heel. And she also, in this work, this is all 3D rendered work, and in her portfolio, it was a digital portfolio where you could like spin these shoes 360 and zoom in and zoom out, and she had a whole collection. You can see a couple of the additional items in the back, but yeah, so you can see very different styles here, and in the senior thesis, that's what we want. We really want students to shine in the area that they're interested in. Another feature of our of FIT really is study abroad. So in the associate level in our area, the opportunities to go abroad would be summer, or FIT has a winterim in January, a short session. So there are opportunities through the study abroad programs to go away then. But in our BFA, there is our students can apply to go to Florence University of the Arts for the second semester of their junior year. If you come to FIT or you talk to anybody from FIT, you might hear people talking about like on 5th semester or on 4th semester. Because our programs are split with that 2+2, we often use the semester number, not like freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors. Well, once you're a senior, I think everybody likes to just say they're a senior. But so for our students, the study abroad is spring of their junior year, or what we often refer to as, 6th semester. And so that is a full semester in Florence. And it's an exchange, meaning that the classes that you would take at Florence University of the Arts are in essence the same classes you're taking at FIT, you would be taking in that semester at FIT, or they're comparable. I shouldn't say they're not identical because it's not taught by FIT, but they're comparable. So, and then you can also do summer and winter term as well in your BFA. The other thing that FIT prides itself on is our industry contacts and our engagement with the fashion industry. We have a lot of industry contests and special projects, and on this page I have a few examples. We have had a graduating student show that's sponsored by the Accessory Council. We did that for about 20 years, working with them. They're an organization that accessories businesses are members of, and they promote that. And they have always been a great supporter of our program. And so at the end of the year, the Accessory Council would get sponsors to sponsor awards for our students. And we'd have a whole event and guest speakers at the event, and students win the award. So in the top left under thank you and congratulations to our winners were all the winners from that year. On the top right, we had a student who participated in a shoe design challenge that was sponsored by Bolero, which is a bowling alley company. And the contest was really open to anyone, but one of our students happened to be the winner. And so he designed a bowling shoe and was chosen to be the winner. And as the winner, his shoe design was actually like when you go to the bowling alley and rent the bowling shoes, those shoes were his design. And Christian Siriano, who's in that picture, if you can see with him, was one of the judges for that contest. So that was a big deal for him. On the bottom left is the Council of Fashion Designers of America, CFDA. It's a huge organization that is led by the fashion industry, and they are very supportive of students and student work. And they have a lot of scholarships, like really big scholarships for students that you can apply to. And they also have a graduate student showcase. So the work on the bottom left was one of our students who was selected to be in the graduate student showcase, graduating student showcase. So that is his senior thesis that was shown, and as one of the selected students, he got a membership to the CFDA and mentorship from CFDA, and it's really a big deal and great connections. And then on the bottom right is the FFANY, F-F-A-N-Y, is Fashion Footwear Association of New York. And for, I think, 6 years, FFANY partnered with a school in Italy called Arsatoria, and they created a scholarship, and the winner of the scholarship got to go to Italy for a 15-week footwear pattern making course. And so students who were graduating from college from invited schools, so schools like FIT, RISD, I should know all the SCAD, Savannah College of Art. The scholarship, FFANY would invite students to apply, and students applied with like a portfolio specific to the scholarship. And our students won 5 out of 6 years, which is impressive. And 2 years ago, our students finished first, second, and third. So that was amazing. And so sadly, the scholarship has changed a little bit, but it's the good thing is it's open to more students. The bad thing is you don't get to go to Italy. So we'll see. Maybe we can change that. But you're still, this summer, it was open to 4 students who went to Detroit and learned from the teachers from Italy came to Detroit. So that was interesting. But we do a lot of projects. We have a lot of guest speakers who come to our classes, whether in person or by Zoom, but because of our connection to the industry, we get a lot of engagement with them. And I talked about the library. Since we're at the library in Levittown, we have an incredible library. It is not only an incredible place to go for books and special collections, but as I said earlier, it also has a really great digital database that our students are lucky. So something like WGSN, which is a trend forecasting company, might be, $1,000 per subscription or something per year, but our students have access to it for free. And it's really great. Great resource right across the street, or you can even go inside. FIT is, FIT, if you never been there, it's on a whole city block. So it's on 27th Street, between 7th and 8th Avenues. And it goes from, that whole block from 27th to 28th, from 7th to 8th Avenue. And you can get almost you can get almost everywhere inside the building. It's a little bit of a maze, but it's pretty cool. And then we have dorms across the street. And yeah, it's a action-packed block of the city. We also have an incredible museum, the museum at FIT. It is an accredited museum, so it's actually its own museum. It's not only just for the school. And it is They have really cool exhibits right now. They have one called Food and Fashion, which I highly recommend if you're in the city to go to. But the work in the museum is the museum's collection. So they have thousands and thousands of fashion related items, mostly clothes, but shoes and hats and bags as well. And they just do incredible exhibitions. They have really cool talks. They have great guests and interviews, and it's an amazing resource. They have a study collection, so teachers and students can make appointments and look at the study collection. So you might be able to go and explore, some historical footwear that you're researching, or things like that. So that is really cool. And we have like our, people from the industry come to the museum on a regular basis, and our library too. Alumni can use the library, which is great. This slide shows a whole bunch of the companies that our students, our graduates, work at currently. And so you can see there's a variety of different types of brands, from very, from fashion heavy and high end to more outdoor, and even like Harley Davidson. One of our students is technical designer there. So it really is a wide array. And as I said in the beginning, it's a huge industry. Don't be fooled that clothes, make all the money for a brand. Actually, if you do your research, you'll find that accessories and fragrances, which I know someone was just there from our fragrance department, accessories and fragrances are huge part of the fashion brands business. So as I said earlier, each major at FIT has different portfolio requirements. And so it's very important to go on the website and review those requirements. In general, these are the qualities that we're looking for in your portfolio. We're looking for original designs and creative thinking. So I know it seems to have changed a little bit, but for a while, everybody's customizing sneakers, and which is totally cool and creative, but we are literally designing and creating shoes, original shoes. We're not decorating shoes. We're not gluing on bows or painting on flowers. We are creating original footwear designs, as an example. So in your portfolio, we want to see that originality. If you are a sneaker customizer, doesn't mean you can't include that in your portfolio, but we don't want to see an Air Force One in 5 colors because Nike's been there, done that. We want to see what if you were creating your own sneaker, like what would that look like? We're also looking for your awareness of fashion, and a certain aesthetic. I think most people have that once they're drawing or creating things. You have an aesthetic that you're going toward, or that you've developed or are in the process of developing. We want to see some technical drawing competency and execution. One of the things that we ask in the portfolio requirement is for you to set up a still life of some shoes in a bag that you own, and draw it with a pencil or a black pen. So literally drawing that still life, because then we can see, and then we ask you to send a photo of the still life and your drawing. And that allows us to get an idea of how you see things, and the detail that you notice in your products and things like that. The presentation is really important. Our portfolio reviews are done online. So you submit to a site called Slide Room, and then the reviewers review it online. And every portfolio is reviewed by 2 faculty members of the major that you're applying to. So you always, it's to be fair, your portfolio is reviewed by 2 people. And if the 2 people sort of opposite ends of the spectrum, there's a third person brought in to split the difference. So everybody's portfolio is viewed by at least 2 people. But we're looking for the presentation. And what I mean by that is that, and I say this all the time to students, is that you want to show your work the best it can be. So for example, I always recommend students, if you have flat artwork, that you scan it versus taking a photo, because oftentimes maybe the lighting is not good, or if you're using your phone, like your phone's shadow is on the work or something like that. So, really making sure that you photograph or scan your artwork well so that it looks good, and that like when you're uploading your files, that your image is oriented the right way. Sometimes we open portfolios and the pictures are sideways, but like all of that is detail that reflects on you as an applicant. Nice quality images and organized presentation. And this is actually where I say, go to your library. Like maybe, you might have a great teacher who can help and really good resources at your high school, but you might not. So usually your local library is a great resource, and that there's somebody there, and especially in your case in Levittown, that Amy's there to help you. And that's something you shouldn't be shy. You're trying to show your best self and present yourself in the best way you can. So definitely ask for help. And the other thing to do is maybe ask somebody to review it before you actually submit. You do have a short essay to write, and then you can write descriptions of your work. And so, things like typos or just incomplete work as well is not a best representation probably to show the school. So don't be shy to ask, whether it be someone at school, someone in your family, someone at the library, to help you. The others, like problem solving and following directions. The following directions is one of the things, in the portfolio requirements, reading those and understanding them. Problem solve is a little bit, sometimes students show, some of your work that you might want to show maybe it wasn't successful, and you could say why, if you wanted to do that, or what you learned from it. Problem solving could be literally like you had, you had a bag that you made a hat from or something like that, or, you came up with a solution, or you design, you always wanted the perfect, backpack for school. You couldn't find it, so you solved the problem by designing it. And then communication skills, again, you have a short essay. We ask you to write, pick a designer or artist who you would like to ask 3 questions of. And so we want to know why you would pick that person and what questions you would ask. So in that written component, that, you can show your communication skills. We also ask you to submit work. So we ask for examples of footwear and accessory design, 9 to 12 examples of your original designs. And we also ask for additional submissions, images. So if you are, if you've designed a poster for like a school dance, that could be something. Maybe you're in a photography class and you took photos, that could be something. So we not only want to see your designs for specifically footwear and accessories, we also want to see your other work, because it helps us get a fuller picture of you. Since we're not going to meet you in person to go over your portfolio, it gives us a full picture. And even, you can include like pictures from a sketchbook if you have, or not everything has to be, a painting that you worked for 6 months on. It might be if the best sketch you did was, when you were at the diner having pancakes or something, and you did it on a napkin, save it and scan it and add it to your portfolio as one of the extras. So so the portfolio requirements is something to go over. And here they are. I should have had this up the whole time. So our portfolio requirements, which are on the FIT's website, as I said, we ask that you answer this. If you had the opportunity to meet one artist or designer from the past or present, who would you choose, and what 3 questions would you ask them and why? So that's an opportunity for you to talk. We get an idea of like what designer you admire or artist, and then what kind of questions you would ask them. It's fun to read those essays. And our portfolio requirements, the footwear and accessory renderings are 9 to 12 examples of your best work. Again, we really want to see original work, and the one submission we want is that still life I described of a shoe and bag selected from your closet, and using a black pen or pencil to sketch that. And we want to see the picture of the still life and the picture of the sketch. When you submit those 9 to 12 examples, you can submit each one could be its own design, or you could make mini collections. So maybe you have an idea, like we just had Halloween, so maybe you're inspired by the Addams Family, and you design, a line of shoes inspired by that, and then you can, or not a line, but like let's say you design 3 pair of shoes that are inspired by that. So that's like a little collection, and you can include like an inspiration, an image of the Addams Family, and you can include like a color story. Probably you'll include black in the Addams Family collection, and maybe some red, but maybe it's some hybrid in your imagination goes, Addams Family goes to the Barbie pink or something. So you can do that, or they can all be individual items. But we do like to see what the inspiration was, and if you have ideas for materials, you can write that. You can have call outs, meaning like you can have a line or an arrow saying like this, that you've got navy blue corduroy or something like that, and you can have swatches even on your work as well. And those swatches, it could be actual swatches, meaning a little piece of fabric or leather or material that you would like to use, or you could render them, meaning you could draw them by hand to make it look like what you want if you don't have it, or you could also find an image on the internet and use that swatch if you know that you want as I said, blue corduroy, but you don't have it anywhere. You can find a picture of the blue corduroy and use that. So that's the part one is actual footwear and accessories. And then, as I said before, the second part is your creative work. So this is really anything. There's no, we want to see 5 to 7 images that can be, again, from your sketchbook, could be photographs, could be, maybe you took a pottery class, maybe you, I don't know, maybe you took a summer beading class or something, it could be really anything that shows some work. It could be a school assignment, for art class, you all had to do a self-portrait, that's totally fine too. But, and then this last line, in terms of the image size, and that's like an example of following directions, looking at, the fact that you have up to 5 megabytes for the images is something to keep in mind. If you have, giant file size, can run into a problem for the upload. So pay attention to that. And again, ask for help if you have an issue with that. So this is my contact information. If anybody wants to email me, it's Sarah_Mullins@fitnyc.edu. And I am available to answer questions. We've had our open house at FIT this fall, and but we do have, if anyone is a senior and applying for fall 2024, we have a portfolio preview event on November 12th. And that is an opportunity for you to come to campus and meet with faculty member from the department and have them look at your portfolio and give you some feedback before you submit your work. So it's a great opportunity. We had National Portfolio Day, which was last month, and at the Javits Center in New York. And that event, like there were 45 schools, art and design schools that all require portfolios. And then again, students come and bring all their work and get feedback. But this one on the 12th is at FIT, so it offers you the opportunity to come to the school if you never have, and it's the opportunity for you to talk to a faculty member in the department and get feedback. I'm not going to tell you if you get in the program or not. It's not about reviewing your portfolio for acceptance, but it's about giving you feedback before you submit it. And there's another date in December, which I should look up. But I can also email you that. So there are two on the FIT admissions website. The dates are listed, but there's one in November and one in December, because the portfolio is due February 1st, 2024. And these are some of our happy graduates, which you could be one too. We really have a very diverse student body, and which I love. I mean, there's students who, grew up down the block, and there's students who grew up across the ocean. And it's what's amazing about our program. We are a relatively small department at FIT, the Footwear and Accessory Design department. And but it means that our students get really close. And like some of these students, I know I still, we stay in contact, which is great. We have a really nice network because of the size of our program. But a lot of them, like, they work together. You end up, your friends in school end up being your colleagues in the industry, and really become just friends and peers, and a support network. So it really is. It's a fun program. I'm going to stop sharing. And yeah, I spoke a long time.
It was such a fantastic presentation. Can I ask you two quick questions?
Yes.
So the portfolio review in November and December, that's only for current seniors who are applying, correct?
No, actually anyone can come. I was suggesting it for, if you are going to be applying for fall 2024, I would absolutely come and talk to a faculty member to and get some feedback to make sure that your portfolio, that you're doing it properly, and that your work is, looks good. Again, it's called portfolio preview. So it is yes. So but anybody can come. Like National Portfolio Day went in October. Sometimes there's juniors or even sophomores. I mean, usually sophomores aren't, but I would say there's sometimes juniors come and they say, "Listen, I'm just trying to figure it out and learn a little bit." I would say more seniors are going to come to the Portfolio Preview Day because they are literally working on their portfolio to apply for fall 24.
Okay, thank you. And then my other question is, in terms of internships, how do students generally find their internships?
Oh, that's a very good question. So FIT has a career and internship center, and our students work with a career counselor in the internship center. And it actually is a pretty an engaging process. So our students currently, it's fall, and as I said, we talk about our 7th semester, or we talk about our students in semester. So our seniors also currently in their 7th semester, this fall, they are meeting with a career counselor, working on their resume and cover letter, and also so in the Career and Internship Center is a database of sponsors, both jobs and internship sponsors. And so the students have access to that database to look and see what internships are available. And they're applying this fall for a spring internship, and they get college credit for the internship. And they actually take a class that coincides with the internship too. So you're also working on like your professional development, like with a teacher from FIT in the class, and then you're working at the internship. And I was going to say something about, anyway, it's a very thorough process, and but and the Career and Internship Center. Oh, I was going to say, students can also seek, like sometimes students know they really want to work for a company, or they contact them, and the company can become a sponsor, even if they're not in the database yet. They can also go through the process and be a sponsor. So our students also, look themselves and use the FIT database. There's a lot of support for that.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
We've had parents ask about that many times before. That's really
it's a pretty there's a structure to it all. It isn't just like students have to go find them. And the whole point of doing a credit internship is legally, students shouldn't be working for free for anyone. So the credit is, kind of the exchange, the work in exchange, you're getting college credit for the work. And then some of our students, some of the internships are also paid. It's not guaranteed, but I was just talking to my students on Tuesday, and they were like, if it's a paid internship, does that mean it's not a credit internship? And that's not true. You can sometimes get both. So if you're lucky, you get a paid credited internship. And if you're really lucky, or you're really talented or good or irreplaceable, you get a job at the end, which is why our students, do it the 8th semester or the spring of their senior year, because, that would be a great, outcome, is that if your internship company sponsor offer you a position when you're finished.
That makes sense. And that is so great to hear. That was it for my questions. I was taking some notes, but then you answered my questions as we were going, which is great.
Oh, good. Well,
yeah, I don't think I have any other questions. Do you have any last things you want to add?
No, just, anybody's welcome to contact me. And as I said, we have a lot of different programs at FIT. So I hope that students will research all the majors at FIT, because there's a incredible business school, art and design. There's a lot of different areas. And again, we have in the spring, there's something called, if we still call it that, Discovery Day. That's an opportunity for juniors usually to come and see the school. And like we do, like our area, we make some leather products. Like it's kind of a fun day to hop around to different areas and see what they do. And then in the fall, we always have open house and the portfolio previews. So it's a good thing to look at the admissions page to see what kind of events there are for interested prospective students.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's great. Thank you for having me.